Redditors who have actually won a lifetime supply of something. What was the supply you won, and how long did it actually last? I won free full body massages for life, which basically just translates to 2 massages a week. It was really good. I got addicted. I knew everyone who worked there, and I got to experiment with all of them to see who were the best. Ended up fluctuating between 3 different staff towards the end. They would even train new staff on me for free because I spent so much time over there. Those training massages never cost me anything either or counted towards my 2 free massage a week limit. When the place closed down, I realized just how expensive massages were. I haven't had one in ages, and I miss it so bad. When I was a kid, I won a lifetime supply of meat from a large butcher shop in my hometown. My dad put my name one day, and a few weeks later we get a call telling us we won a custom barbecue pit and a monthly supply of meat and supplies for life. We got the pit a few days later, and every month we would get a foam ice chest of various beef cuts, sausages, and steaks, a couple dozen sodas, a bag of charcoal, lighter fluid, and a bag of whatever veggies they had around or something. We were really poor at the time, so this was exactly something that could help the family out in enormous ways. My dad would have a barbecue every weekend, sometimes several times a week. I remember sometime afterwards realizing that I hadn't felt hunger in days or even weeks, and that was so unusual for me. For years we continued to get the monthly supply. There was even one point where the amount of meat and sodas we got doubled. We were having a hard time keeping up, but that's a good problem to have. I remember near the time I was going to high school we got notified that the butcher shop got bought out by a larger national chain and the parent company just wanted to cut us a check to end it all. We gladly accepted. The check was for like $10,000 or something like that. By that time, my parents had gone to school and got their degrees and got better paying jobs, so the free supply of food was just bonus. Looking back, that helped us out a lot when we were poor. I can imagine the savings my parents gained from not having to buy as much food, which was scarce as it was. We became happier and a little fatter as well. When I was a kid 30 years ago, my dad said he had 1 free pizza coupons, and he had a massive stack of these little business cards, each for a free large pizza. My dad said we had to be careful using them though, so we would only use them occasionally, and I remember my dad sometimes making me order the pizza and answer the door to get the free pizza, even though I was only 9. Looking back, my dad worked for a commercial printing company and was not exactly an upstanding citizen. I'm pretty sure he didn't win those cards. This happened in the late 90s. A local bar ran a wet t-shirt contest where the girl who won would win a lifetime of free bar drinks at the bar. They also had cash prizes for 2nd and 3rd place. I don't remember how much, but it was a lot at the time. The result was a packed bar, tons of girls entered, and tons of guys spent money. My friend's girlfriend at the time, now his wife, won 1st place. She was stoked. He was excited. Within a couple of weeks, the building was condemned and torn down. Turns out the owners of the bar knew that the building was going to be condemned and just wanted to have one last party. Ryanair, which is a European budget airline, awarded its millionth passenger free flights for life. After 9 years, they reneged on the deal, so she took them to court. The judge awarded her €60,000 to buy her own flights. Her legal costs were more than 3 times that, but Ryanair had to pay those as well. Given the relatively low cost of Ryanair flights, €60,000 probably buys her at least 6 flights a year for the next 50 years. When I bought my bicycle, the shop policy was that any new bike purchased included free tune-ups for life. Personally, I thought this was a great business move because it got me back in the store regularly to redeem my tune-ups, kept my bike running smoothly, which kept me as an active cyclist, and I also would regularly buy parts and services beyond the tune-up when I was there. Which I was happy to do since I had a good relationship with the shop through this free tune-up deal. When the shop changed owners, they discontinued the tune-ups, even for people like me who had purchased their bike under these terms. I don't go there anymore. I won a lifetime of free oil changes for my car. It was during a sale the dealership was having where you had to take a photo with your pet and the person who most resembled their pet won. I don't know if I should feel happy or concerned about that one. What they did fail to mention is that it was lifetime oil changes for the vehicle I had, and I couldn't transfer it to anyone else. So, when my dad took over my car loan, they dropped that little tidbit of info on us. It only really lasted me for about 2 oil changes. My parents won a lifetime supply of toiletries. Soap, toilet tissue, and some other stuff. Once per quarter, you mail in the coupon, and they send you another quarter's worth of stuff. It's all institutional grade, like what you would expect prisoners to use. My grandparents were gifted a lifetime subscription to Reader's Digest as a wedding gift. They were offered that, or some other magazine that went out of business a decade later, so they made the right call. Being a frugal family, that subscription was utilized fully. After Grandma and Grandpa were done with each issue, it would be passed along to siblings and their kids. They had been together for 62 years when Grandpa passed, but Reader's Digest honored the subscription an extra decade until Grandma passed. I bought a lifetime membership to PureVPN. After just 5 years, they reneged on that and said, "No, you only purchased 5 years." I showed them the receipt, and basically got, "Well, we don't honor that anymore, sorry." Thankfully, I bought it through Stack Social, so when I reported that to them, they hooked me up with a different lifetime VPN provider instead. Screw paying monthly for something I barely use. I took my kids to a pizza buffet place when they received a free kids' meal coupon for good grades. The cashier mistakenly charged us for the meals. When the manager came out to correct the transaction, I said he could just return the coupon and not worry about it. He gave us an entire stack, which was about 50 of unused coupons that were attached together like a checkbook. We got free kids' meals until they obviously reached the age limit. My uncle gets free Ben and Jerry's for life. He has been friends with the actual Ben and Jerry's since before they opened the first shop. He has a card that says free ice cream for life, and he can get pints or cones at any scoop shop. He also gets decks of free pint coupons that he can use at grocery stores and gas stations. When Unilever bought them out, they tried to buy back all the free ice cream for life cards. I guess it was a fairly generous offer because my uncle is one of only a few that chose to keep the card. Back in 1977, when I was 13 years old, I won a contest for a lifetime supply of models from Revell. A semi-truck pulled up to our house in a very quiet suburban neighborhood and proceeded to unload 4 pallets of plastic models in the driveway. There were hundreds of models, probably one of everything they offered in their catalog at the time. I kept about 2 dozen, which kept me busy for a year or so. My father helped by finding a local retail hobby store to sell the rest of them at a very favorable price so we could just get rid of them. He put the money into U.S. savings bonds for me, which I cashed out many years later to use for a down payment on my first new car. I won a lifetime supply of AA and AAA batteries from a major Canadian tech retailer about 20 years ago. Thing is that batteries last a long time, and there really isn't that much that I use batteries for. Hypothetically, I could start a black market battery business by just getting my free batteries and selling them to people in need, but it's just not worth the time. Even getting the batteries isn't worth the time. I have to get them to type in my name in their system, and there's a note by my name indicated that I get free batteries because I won a contest 20 years ago. And then they run and get their manager to look at it, because that looks suspicious. And then the manager looks at it, and then asks me questions, and then they finally relent and give me my free batteries. When I was a kid, I won a contest online which included a lifetime supply of Hubba Bubba bubble tape. I don't remember the exact amount, but I think it was about a dozen boxes of gum. They also sent me a small boom box and hockey jersey with the Hubba Bubba logo on it. I got sick of it pretty quickly, and it had a shelf life. A friend and I wound up using it all for a school project where we had to make a model of the town from the book The Outsiders. We made the entire model out of gum, and it was disgusting. Our jaws got sore from chewing all the gum, so we wound up dipping it in water instead. Our teacher docked us points for creativity. 20 years later, and I'm still pretty mad about that. Didn't win a lifetime worth but won a year worth of non-perishable food. Every month we'd get 2 or 3 massive boxes filled with all sorts of non-perishable food. It lasted for about 9 months before something changed behind the scenes with the company. They got back in touch with us a few months after the year was up and told us we still had 3 months credit, so we told them to surprise us. This all happened years ago, and we've still got some of it left. I once worked a job that had me purchase Subway sandwiches for mobile working crews and let me keep the tickets. All the tickets were numbered and purchases valid. After 2 years, I had enough tickets and receipts to redeem multiple sandwiches daily for at least 6 months if I wanted, and still accruing more. I started filling the cards and giving them to friends to eat a free lunch. Within 1 month, my friends and I were banned from every Subway in a 5-mile radius in Los Angeles. They put our pictures up on the wall and refused to honor the stamps, no matter who brought them in. After 2 more years, Subway Corporate canceled the stamps altogether, and no one would accept them. I couldn't even give them away to a food bank or the homeless to get a free sandwich, thanks Subway. My parents did twice in a relatively short period of time. The first was at fair when I was in high school. They advertised it as a lifetime supply of ice cream sandwiches. They ended up giving us 100 boxes all at once. Right there on a warm July day. My mom was only able to collect at the end of the day, so there wasn't even that many people to hand them out to. We got home and had about 60 left after giving away as much as possible, and throwing out what didn't fit in our freezer. I played lots of sports, so I ate a lot, and my parents just said I could eat as much as I wanted anytime I wanted. I went through 60 boxes in a couple months. That was a good time, but not so good for my weight. The second was when they bought an expensive microwave about a year later and won a 5-year supply of microwave popcorn. Basically, the same thing happened. We got a huge box with like 200 packages, and I was told to eat as much as I wanted. After living in a house that smelled like popcorn for a few weeks, my parents just threw the rest in the garbage. I didn't really win it, and it was only a year's supply. But I got a year's supply of Hot Pockets when I was 17 because I bit into a Hot Pocket that had no filling, and I sent them an email pretending to be my mom complaining about it. To my surprise, they actually replied and sent me a golden coupon that was good for a year. I ate so many Hot Pockets that I hate them now and haven't had one since. I won a year of free Kula. It's a fast casual Indian restaurant. They give a year of free food via a coupon book with 52 cards for free meals to the first 100 customers at any location. I saw that the line was short on the way to work and called everyone in the office to get in line. We had all our business meetings at Kula for a year, with the company paying for meals when people ran out of coupons, didn't have them, or we hired anyone new. The food was perfect because if you ate vegan, paleo, gluten-free, or any combination, there was something on the menu you could eat. We still use them for company catering because everyone likes the options,